Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck. I teach parenting all over the world through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about gentle parenting and the pros and cons. In this video, we're going to talk about what gentle parenting is and then share some of the pros and cons. I think some of the pros and cons might actually even surprise you. So what is gentle parenting? I think everyone is afraid of those moments when they need to correct something about their child's behavior and the child looks at them like, I don't trust you, or that was painful, I don't like this. As a person who teaches parenting, I'm going to have to be very upfront that sometimes there are parents who come to me and they say, well, I taught my children these skills and I start correcting them like you told me to, but my child, this one, he does not like it. So one of the premises behind gentle parenting is that somehow the children will always willingly accept the parenting and that they will always like it. That somehow you will teach boundaries and you will combine that with understanding, that it will feel loving and supportive, but not condemning, and in some ways that the child won't even have to accept consequences unless they're just natural consequences, which are very hard to help a child accept. So many people who are proponents of gentle parenting are anti-consequences. And that's a key distinction to make in your mind. So you have to ask yourself the question, is cause and effect a principle? If I throw something up, does it come down? The answer is yes. If I yell at a person, does the person pull back from me internally, distance themselves? Sometimes even physically, do they pull back? The answer is yes. That is cause and effect. So is there cause and effect in parenting? Is there cause and effect in behavioral modification? Is there cause and effect in the transformation of a person's heart? The answer is yes. So cause and effect is important. Teaching boundaries so that a person can better observe what they've learned about cause and effect is important. But doing this teaching through the right lens is vital. If you are aggressive with your child, obviously that wouldn't be considered gentle parenting. But if you are aggressive with your child, then the effects that you will have is oftentimes distance, distrust, or manipulation in your relationship. Most parents do not want that. They were raised aggressively, perhaps. Maybe they were told it was biblical to have this aggressive upbringing, which, by the way, I have whole videos about that. So I'm not going to go into that right now. You can be very, very biblical without being aggressive and militant with your children. So authoritarian parenting is not the answer. Okay, but many people who were raised in that militant or authoritarian type of a way, they want to get as far away from that as possible. So they go on the complete opposite end of the spectrum and they become the child's friend. And they think, if I can be their friend, then maybe they'll listen to some of my teaching. But guess what? That crashes and burns even worse than the authoritarian style of parenting. I have seen it now all over the globe, that really permissive, modern progressive type of parenting where we just focus on friendship, although it seems gentle for a lot of people, is actually not good parenting because it's not parenting at all. The roles have been completely frustrated. I care so much about the roles that after I wrote this book, which is my main parenting book, Parenting a House United, I actually had to write this book called Roles: The Secret to Family, Business, and Social Success. Because what I recognized is that people were trying to implement all of the principles and skills of parenting and not recognizing the power of their roles in the family and how to maintain those roles. So, gentle parenting is all about helping a child learn in a way that does not feel emotionally unsafe. We need to talk about the pros and cons to this type of parenting that is supposed to maintain the parent-child role, which is good, but is also supposed to make sure that the child always feels emotionally safe with the parenting, and also somehow helps the child have a change of heart and change of behavior and everything all at the same time. There are goods and bads to what is usually taught. I also am going to follow it up after we discuss these pros and cons with what I see as the very best strategy and what has now been proven all over the globe. But before we get to that, do you see that subscribe button? Click that button now. You won't be sorry, because then you'll have access to more content that will help you be the best type of parent possible. So let's talk about the pros and cons to gentle parenting. We'll start with the pros. So the pros to gentle parenting are that the parent is focused on being gentle. That's a great thing. Okay? That the parent is not thinking of themselves as militant, as at war with their children, but instead they're thinking more about this change of heart that they want the child to have. That is a very good, productive thing. That's a great direction to head in your parenting. So the way that the parent sees themselves is key to success in parenting. So just that term, gentle parenting, can change things for the parent in a positive direction, especially if that parent has a tendency to be more authoritarian or militant in their style of aggressive parenting, okay? Another pro to gentle parenting is that the parents are trying to help the child learn. This is good. The parents are saying, okay, I do want the child to learn. We're going to have conversations about things. That's a good thing. That's a good aspect to gentle parenting. I completely approve. Children and parents who talk more about things and have more learning moments together usually have less problems. So these things are really great. Another pro is calmness. Gentle parenting should, by the nature of the word gentle, be a calm type of parenting. A parenting where everyone feels like they can communicate calmly with each other. Okay, but then this brings us to the cons. The cons to gentle parenting, the number one con is probably that it's actually not very calm all the time. So even though the parent's trying to be calm and gentle, the children, because the parents are worried about the child feeling safe and liking the type of parenting that they're doing, the parents become very entitlement oriented toward the child, meaning, oh, what does the child need? How can I manipulate the child to get a feeling of happiness right now? So the parent becomes so focused on the feeling that the child learns to go out of control, to not be calm, so that they can dominate the parent. So what happens is the roles become completely frustrated in so many homes that are practicing the gentle parenting. Parents are so worried about the feeling that they have with their child, they give up or they abandon the parental authority. The child relies upon the parent maintaining parental authority in order to have stability, security in a foundation for their life. If the parent leaves them alone, goes toward feeling and friendship, and doesn't maintain parental authority, then the child can be in trouble. And many parents think that when they hear gentle parenting and that they hear no consequences and stuff like that, that they actually are supposed to be a little bit more hands off. This swings them in the direction of the modern progressive parenting. So one big con to the gentle parenting is if you're already a parent that's kind of more emotional and you're worried about friendship for your children, which actually, quite frankly, are the majority of the parents who trend toward the gentle parenting movement, those parents are going to end up with the opposite problem as the militant, authoritarian type parent. So now they are going to, instead of bringing them toward a gentle place, they will now soften them to the point that they don't do any parenting, and the child is left abandoned, and the parent doesn't have the influence that they need to actually mold and train that child in a way that they're going to be happy with after the fact. What happens is we completely lose parental identity. identity and child identity in so many families because they get so involved in the feelings that they don't do the proper teaching. Here's another con to the gentle parenting movement is it's very reactive. Most people do not see the proactive aspect of the movement. So when you are thinking, I'm going to be gentle, hopefully you would be thinking, then what do I need to learn? How do I need to change me to be gentle? That's a proactive step. Most people just get reactive with their parenting, and if they think they have to be gentle, then when something big occurs, they don't handle it well or at all sometimes. This means that we are denying our children of the opportunity to learn cause and effect, which is going to be so helpful for them. So, what do parents need to do if they want the positive aspects of the gentle parenting, but to get rid of those cons or negative aspects that some families could find with this gentle parenting? They need to be more prepared and get the children more prepared too. The type of parenting I teach, which is teaching self-government, meaning that parents and children both learn self-government and self-mastery, maintains roles. It maintains the parental authority. It also maintains the teaching. So the principles and the practice match as well. There's no emotional manipulation that happens. That's probably one of the biggest cons to the gentle parenting movement is it turns out to be emotional manipulation on all sides. That's not great parenting. But what you can do is get a change of heart with no emotional manipulation if you are prepared. Now, I know this might look a little overwhelming. You don't have to read every one of these to get going. I've written 11 books for parents and families so that they can learn self-government. The key book is this one right here, Parenting a House United. But I do recommend reading or listening to this book, Popular Parenting Methods, first. You can find the audio and the book form of any of these at teachingselfgovernment.com, which is my website. This book will help you analyze your parenting and help you see where you might be falling into certain traps. Some of these children's books that I have here in this stack are great at teaching the children the skills that they need for self-government too. So let's talk really briefly about what self-government is and some of these useful skills. Self-government is being able to determine the cause and effect of any given situation and possessing a knowledge of your own behaviors so that you can control them. That means you make a plan for yourself, you analyze yourself, and you self-correct. Can a child learn to self-correct? The answer is yes, they absolutely can, especially if proper teaching is done. Now, those children's books I mentioned, they each teach one of the 4 basic skills to children, which are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. When a person learns those 4 basic skills, that takes care of 99% of their behavioral problems because the skills are broken into steps. They have a skill set attached to them, and you can isolate the piece of the skill that the child is struggling with when they might be doing some of the pieces of the skill okay. Now, in a really great self-governed family, the children don't just know their skills, but they know all the parent skills as well. There are 5 basic skills for parents and 4 basic skills for children. So parents and children learn all 9 of these skills, and they learn how to communicate so that they can properly use these skills in the moment. They learn how to value their relationships. They learn how to keep a proper tone of calmness, acceptance, understanding, good boundaries, roles, and maintaining parental authority, all at the same time by using the skills that will hold all of those tone elements in place. I have a special video. It's a full-length class, and it is all about self-government and what you can do to help your family learn self-government. So I highly recommend, if you are ready to have a type of gentle parenting that actually works and won't give you all of the cons and the manipulation that can come with the modern gentle parenting movement, I recommend self-government. So go to the video, The Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success, now and learn more about the skills and principles of self-government that you can start using today.